Hello, David Judge here from Affordable Staff, and I'm here with David Coglan from
Zenith Digital Marketing.
Yes, and welcome, David. Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome, David.
Top bloke, you got a David.
There you go.
Okay, so we're here to talk to David today, just discuss a little bit around outsourcing. David's obviously a client of ours, and I just have a few questions for David, again, around outsourcing and get his thoughts around it. So yeah, let's get started, shall we?
Great, let's go.
Okay, so I've got all the questions here as well for me. So first of all, just let's start off by telling me a little bit about your business.
Sure, David. Zenith Digital Marketing, as the name implies, we're a digital marketing company, but slightly different in the way that we offer digital marketing solutions to small to medium-sized companies, but we also offer strategies where they can essentially create some marketing systems for them to get clients into their business.
Okay, excellent. How long have you been running the business for now?
Well, this business has been going about a year now, but
Yes.
we've been in the business a lot longer than that.
Yeah, so you have extensive experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question, why did you decide to outsource? What was the
It's a really good
deciding
question.
factor?
Yeah. I think it was a realisation that we weren't going to be able to do it. We won't be able to achieve the growth that we wanted to achieve doing it in a traditional way. And I'd experienced, I guess, outsourcing in some ways through various different products that I'd used before, so I had a bit of a sense of what we could achieve. So yeah, so ultimately, I think it was a no-brainer for us at the end. When we weighed up the advantages and disadvantages of going down that track, we ultimately decided it's something we needed to do and definitely look at.
Yes. Okay, excellent. Okay, so, and I always ask this question because in reality, here we are in Australia and we have our physical office in the Philippines, and ultimately there's an element of trust that has to come into play. Definitely. When you have a person that's in another country for you, you have no idea what they're doing to your data potentially. Yeah. Do you think, actually, why would you, and do you think it's important to be able to trust the people that you're actually working with?
Oh, absolutely, and we looked into that, and you guys will probably remember, we asked a lot of questions and really wanted to see how that data and how that information and also the employees over there were handled from a security point of view, because that's something that's very important to us.
Yes.
And particularly in this day and age, the focus on data of your clients, it's a very important responsibility that we take very seriously. So we looked into it very carefully, and we came up with the answer that we thought we're well and truly positioned well to go with you guys, and the trust is definitely there. Yeah,
and that's at the end of the day, there's an element of trust that comes into play. We put a lot of measures into place, and we always have put a lot of measures into place around how we handle our clients' information and our clients' data. We had a legal practice that we're working with now as a client, and the first thing that they wanted to do when they came through and they dealt with us is they wanted to see everything. They wanted to see the contractual agreement, obviously, between us and them, and they also wanted to see the agreements that we have with our team members, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they said that, look, this is sensitive data you're dealing with here. And I mean, it's still, you're putting all that aside, if you have an infrastructure in place and you're able to demonstrate that infrastructure, in a lot of ways, that's going to help position the outsourcing business in a favourable light. Because, like in Australia, you could have a person that starts today and then they leave next week and they take that data, and there's no way of stopping it in a lot of ways within Australia. And there's a much stronger responsibility because of that fear that people may have. There's a much stronger responsibility over in the Philippines for us to set up tighter systems in place to prevent that data from being taken, or the worst thing that you could have, which would be one of your clients being poached by one of your team members who's gone and sold off your list to somebody, which would be absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, I can see you sweating because I'm mentioning but yeah. So yeah, important. Trust is very, very important, which leads us through to the next question. And you sort of briefly touched on it, but I want to delve in deeper around it, which is, why did you choose us?
Well, look, that's interesting. The way we met was at a function, I think. I met Nadine and got a very good sense that your business was very suited to what we were doing, and you're going along the same lines, and it was just an automatic trust, I guess, straight away.
Yes.
A very good rapport as well. I just felt very comfortable with you guys.
Yes.
So really, it wasn't that much of a difficult decision in the end once we'd done all our checks.
Yeah, and the funny thing is our method is really to have a hands-on approach, to always have the person contactable, and to have your account manager. Whilst we have supervisors and we have people that maintain a layer over the team that are working in the Philippines, for you people like yourself to have someone they can talk to, because there's nothing worse that if potentially your person in the Philippines disappears, you don't know where they are, what they're doing, where are they okay, you know. So there's a lot of questions that can enter into your mind ultimately. So to have that person you can gain contact with, like Nadine for you, and it's me for other clients, and other account managers for other clients that we have as well, to ultimately have that contact.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling to be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody here and have something sorted very quickly. We've had a number of things that have come up where we've needed to deal with them fairly quickly, and yeah, that's happened, and it just gives you a sense of sense of confidence, most definitely.
So. I always ask this question because I like to be transparent, and I'm really interested to hear people's response and then put it on video. What limitations have you found with outsourcing?
I guess it's a limitation in one way, but it's really only in your own mind. The fact that it's there, your office is overseas and you're here, but I guess it's no different to a multinational company which has their head office in New York or London or somewhere else. With technology today, that's not really an issue, but I guess that's really the only thing I could think of. In terms of limitations, I don't think that's a major issue for us.
Yes. And I was talking to another client who does some work for a large multinational company, and they literally have cameras sitting there at people's computers at all times, and they have a big screen on a wall, and anytime they want to talk to an individual, someone stands there and they wave their hand in front of the camera and they look up and they go, "Oh yeah, you wanted to have a chat?" So it's really bridged the gap in a lot of ways, and we have that for some clients as well. Especially accounting clients, they like to talk face to face. So where they have the video set up in that way. So I think the only other time that we found limitations, and we briefly spoke about it beforehand, was around the utilisation of the outsourced team member and making sure that you're really engaging them in all the different tasks that you potentially could be within your business.
Yeah, well, we've actually gone out of our way to make sure we have a fairly big growth plan that we've got in place, and a fairly big vision. So we know that we're going to need more team members both here in Australia and also over in the Philippines as our VA team. So right from the outset, the individual that we've got, I believe, is showing signs as being somebody who can be a great leader.
Yes.
So trying to instill in him the culture that we want to create. So we have, I would most mornings take the time, whether I'm in the car or I'm at the office, to engage him in what's happening, keep him up to speed with where the company's at, and include him in that vision, so that when we start to bring more people on, that he can do that job and do the company or the group huddles that we'll have happening, and we'll get the banners up and those sort of things, just to create that, even though they're over there, we want them to feel part of the company.
Yeah, exactly. Next question, which is an interesting question. What do you think your industry feels, or how do you think your industry perceives outsourcing? Yeah,
look, I think if you'd asked that same question maybe 4 or 5 years ago, it could have had some negative responses there. But I think a lot of businesses now are using outsourcing in one form or another in their business, and I think it's becoming more and more an essential part of most businesses.
Yes.
So I think it's part of the norm now, as opposed to being an exception.
And I think it's the application of outsourcing and how you apply it as well.
Absolutely, and I think outsourcing's come a long way as well. Where in the past it was, you might have jumped on a website and got somebody that you never really met or knew much about, and sort of rolled the dice. As to now, which is a highly managed environment.
Yes.
So what we're getting is really, just as I mentioned before, you're virtually got an overseas office that is being managed very well. Some of the guys, they've got resources that they can pull in on. There's problems that have come up and challenges that we've had that would have been a lot harder to overcome if that individual was working from home or in a small office that wasn't managed to the same degree. So there's a huge difference, and I guess it's like most things, you don't really realise the importance of that level of service until there's a problem.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're good at handling problems. I'm not sure if that's good or not good, but yeah, we see these grey hairs that have split.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you look like you've had a lot to do.
That's right. Thanks for that.
That's right. Second last question. How do you see the future of outsourcing going? So you sort of briefly touched on where you saw the outsourcing industry a few years ago and where you see it now. Where do you see it going in the future?
Look, I think it's only going to grow further. Businesses are, finding costs is a huge issue, and profits are being squeezed. So it's a great way to grow your business, and it's a great way to grow your business both here and overseas, because unless you're able to improve each year, your business is going backwards. So I think the future of it's very bright.
Yeah, definitely. And the example that I talk to a number of clients about is around outsourcing. We have a manufacturing client, Dan, you've seen the video case study with. And the interesting thing with Dan is that when we brought on board his first outsourced team member, and we helped with the integration, it really changed the dynamic of who and how he was structuring and running his business. Okay. He was suddenly in a situation where he had a lot of administration tasks that were being taken care of, which meant Dan could focus on going out to more events and going to more training seminars and other environments like that, which then put him out there more in the marketplace, which then meant he was able to land more jobs, and he was asked to land more jobs, which then meant he was able to employ more people locally. So it's
absolutely, yeah.
So you can see how that trend will occur, with more and more businesses as they embrace outsourcing.
Yeah.
So the last question: what would you say if someone were to come to you now and say, David, what do you think about outsourcing? What would you say to a person that's considering it?
Look, I think it's like anything. I'd certainly ask them what they were hoping to achieve by having an outsourcing option there, but I think at the end of the day most businesses could do with it. I think you mentioned before the freeing up of your time, whereas you've got a key member or an owner of a business engaged in tasks that can be handled by somebody else, which enable you to go out and do what it is, firstly what you love doing, which is really what you want to be doing when you're in business for yourself, doing what you love, and also doing what pays the most. So anyone that came to me and asked me that question, I'd say give it a go. Get in, dive in.
Yes, excellent. So that's it. As you guys know, you'll see our 1300 number on the screen there at the moment. And if you wanted to have a chat to any of us about outsourcing, by all means, give us a call and we can have a chat. Thank you, David. Very much appreciate having you as a client and continuing to work with you, and look forward to seeing your business grow as we continue to grow with you.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you.
Excellent. Bye.
Thanks, guys.